I don't know. I think I'd probably go down. I'd take myself back to like being a 14-year-old kid and going back into that kind of headspace. And Metallica has always been the reason for any of this happening in the first place. So to maybe hear them giving one of our songs a little bit of a makeover would be a pretty special moment for us, you know. And I think they would do it justice, especially the older stuff. Maybe a song like Screaming Fire, because that song was just basically built around what they've always done, you know. It's thrashy, it's edgy, it's intense, it's got, you know, riffs for days, got multiple guitar solos, and so I think they could probably do a kick-ass cover of that. That'd be good. Yeah, it was when I first saw Enter Sandman video on MTV when I was 14 years old. And that was it. I just fell in love with the sound and the intensity of it and the imagery of that video, and I don't know, it just captured me. And from that moment, that's what I wanted to do. So I kind of focused all my efforts, even at 14 years old, to sitting down, learning to play guitar by myself. Didn't take any lessons or anything. I just stuck on the Black Album and off I went. Just kind of learned it with my ears, worked it all out, and that's that really, you know. So the moment I got the opportunity to kind of jam with other boys, you know, Metallica was always that band that we first all started to play those songs together, you know. So we weren't like a Metallica and Nirvana cover band as such. We were just playing songs from multiple bands like Slayer, Machine Head, Pantera, loads of stuff, you know. But I think Metallica and Nirvana were the two bands that our group of friends would most listen to, so that was what we were trying to play, you know. It was a Black Album, yeah, because of watching that music video. Any little bit of money I got, I went down to the local record store and I picked that album up, and that was it. I was just obsessed, you know. And any time I had a bit of money to go and buy some music, you know, I would go and buy music and Metallica and heavy metal and stuff, and I did it everything backwards then, because Black Album was their latest record at that point, so I did it in reverse. And just kind of my love for the genre just grew then. Not really. They were never really the band for me. It was just that Nevermind was a huge record at that point, and it was an easy band to learn to play guitar to, because, you know, Nirvana's music there's nothing really complicated about it, and the kind of the dirtier you played it, the more kind of in keeping with the band it sounded, you know. So, you know, you learn power chords, and then you just move your fingers up and down the frets, and then you can play any song ever, really, you know. So they were just kind of, it was just a huge part of my childhood, Nirvana, you know. I was more focused on the metal stuff and the more technical side of playing guitar, because Nirvana, I found it after 10 minutes it was just too easy. And that's not a diss, you know. There's you know, massive positives of simplicity, which they've proved, you know. There's been many bands, you know. I don't really tend to, when we're doing these shows and festivals and stuff, you know, that like the kind of schedule's busy. There's not really the luxury of hanging out and watching all the bands and having a beer and stuff, you know. There's a whole schedule to keep, and you've got to get on the road to get to the next show, maybe a 9-hour drive away and all that kind of stuff, you know. So it's very, very unrock and roll when you're actually living it. But yeah, there's, you know, like I think Parkway Drive is probably the band right now which is going all guns blazing as far as putting on a show that they want to put on, which is amazing, you know, because I know what that takes as far as logistics and as far as finances and stuff like that, you know what I mean. It's a huge commitment to put on a show of that size, you know, which is great, and, you know, it works. It's amazing. The intensity of the music and the spectacle of the show they're putting on now is quite a devastating combo, you know. So it's good. I say Parkway are the ones that are really pushing the boundaries right now of metal music and metal live production, you know. Well, my first ever concert I ever went to, and it was kind of a rock concert, was Meatloaf. Yeah, so it wasn't something I went to. My parents went to see them, and me and my sisters got dragged along, and we were like, oh, Jesus. But I actually had the best time ever, and it was my first ever experience of a live show, you know, and that is a cool moment, especially if you're into music. But then the first show I ever went to of my own choosing was a Metallica show as well, and it was in Birmingham's NEC Arena in October 1996, I think it was, something like that. Yeah, and it just blew my mind, and it just kind of reinforced my love and passion to do what they were doing, you know. It was huge moments, life-changing moments for me. We've honestly ticked all those boxes over the years. We've been very lucky, even from the early days of The Poison, you know. We were touring with the people that made us be in a band like Metallica and stuff like that. You know, we were lucky enough to get shows with those guys and do our thing. So from a very early stage in our career, you know, as well, we were headlining venues all over the world, and that's continued to grow ever since, really. So, you know, one thing I just want it to continue now, and for everyone just to be happy. You know, we've achieved amazing things, so we just want to just continue on what we're doing. You know, it's nice to not have those milestones, because you can just kind of relax and do your thing. Not really, because I think, you know, mistakes, regardless if it's in a career or in life in general, you know, when you know you've messed up, you know, you learn from that anyways. So I think it's always a good thing to mess up, you know. I don't think there's anything been major that I would change, because it's all just been part of the story. So, you know, I wouldn't, and you can't go back anyway. So it's always, you know, I'm very focused on the future, really. I don't really tend to look back on the past much at all. I'm just not that way inclined. You know, the past is in the past, and it's always good to kind of take stock of it. But it's always, for me, I take stock of it to kind of motivate me to keep going anyways, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird circle thing. My first car I ever owned was a white Ford Fiesta XR2i. You know what? I've never really fully nailed someone in the face, and that's probably a good thing. I remember having one real proper tussle when I was about 18 years old, and yeah, I did alright. I came off the better guy. Well, my first proper job, because I did loads of things when I was young just to kind of earn some money on the sly, to kind of fund my music habit. But my first job, my proper job, was as a salesman in a Levi's store, just in a shop. My first kiss? Jeez, probably when I was 14 with my first girlfriend, if you can call girlfriends that when you're 14 years old, you know. So yeah, I think her name was Neris, which is a Welsh name. What's up, Neris?